Israel Adesanya is already looking to come back. This guy is one of the most active champions in the UFC right now, as we know that the guy is used to having very quick turnarounds. He did try to fight July 8th at Allegiant Stadium for International Fight Week. Didn't work out. He wanted to fight Dricus du Plessis, but we have a new date for Israel Adesanya, as well as some confusion. Who is he going to fight? Because originally we thought that he was going to fight Robert Whittaker versus Dricus du Plessis, but now, according to Dana White, it kind of seems like that's not the case. I'm going to be breaking down all of this and more. What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. If you guys are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. As you guys know, we are almost at 11,000 subscribers. Like, we are literally in the single digit. Like, this could just be a couple subscribers and you could be the 11,000 subscriber. Let's see who is the 11,000 subscriber. So go hit the subscribe button. Sorry for the lack of uploads the past few days. Just doing some stuff behind the scenes, you know, but don't worry. Plenty of content this week, even though there's no UFC this week, which is pretty sad. We'll be preparing. We'll be doing some stuff. So gonna be doing some Q&As. Go comment in the comment section below. Definitely got to come up with some good content. So if you guys have any video ideas or any videos you guys want me to do, comment in the comment section below. I got a KSI breakdown coming out, Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley breakdown coming out, lots of videos on the horizon. But without further ado, let's just get into this video. All right, Israel Adesanya, obviously, look, coming off of that massive knockout win against Alex Pereira. Brutal knockout. The guy wanted to come back as soon as possible. As I said in this video, apparently he wanted to fight July 8th, International Fight Week. That would have been just 3 months or so after he fought. Wanted to fight at Allegiant Stadium against Dricus du Plessis, who we all know they both have beef. They both have had back and forth. If you guys want a separate video on why they have beef, I'll be happy to break that down, but they have some intense beef back and forth. But obviously the UFC could not make it happen because there was really no clear middleweight contender. Yes, Dricus du Plessis had a good win against Derek Brunson, but other than that, I mean, he hasn't fought anybody at the top. And now he's getting Robert Whittaker in July. And to me, because I thought this was such a one-sided matchup, and I thought that Robert Whittaker would clearly beat Dricus du Plessis, I thought that the UFC was banking on Robert Whittaker to win, return to fight Israel Adesanya in Australia, where obviously Robert Whittaker is from. But with the announcement that Israel Adesanya is going to fight in Australia, and with the new announcement that the next Australian pay-per-view is going to be September 9th, it kind of makes us wonder, are they really expecting the winner of Robert Whittaker versus DDP to return in just 2 months' time to fight for the UFC middleweight championship? I don't think so. And although I think Robert Whittaker will win, Robert Whittaker is a guy that tends to go to decisions, and Dricus du Plessis is the type of guy to have wars in his fight. I find it really hard to believe that none of these guys are going to come out of this fight banged up or with injury. Plus, you never know. Robert Whittaker could break his hand if he wins, or DDP could win and still break his hand. You know, anything is possible. A 2-month turnaround isn't very ideal. And who is he going to fight next? Well, I thought I would break down a few of the options that seem to be presented. So without further ado, let's just break it down. All right, look, we should be getting an announcement soon. Dana White teased it at the last UFC post-fight press conference that, hey, when responding to the media saying, hey, this is going to be a quick turnaround for the winner, Dana even said, hey, we're going to have an announcement soon, kind of hinting that Adesanya might not fight the winner of this immediately, rather that might be a fight later in the future, but Adesanya might fight a different fight.
UFC 293 is in Sydney. I'm guessing you're hoping Israel Adesanya headlines that card, but with Robert and Dricus fighting 2 months prior at International Fight Week, it's kind of going to be a quick turnaround for the winner of that fight. Are you kind of thinking about that, or?
We'll make that announcement soon.
Now, to me, I think that there is 4 options. From least likely to most likely, I'm going to start with the winner of Whittaker versus DDP. Like, this is still an option. Hypothetically, yes, someone could come out of this totally unscathed and fight 2 months later. That is a possibility. And maybe there's going to be a backup in play. Like, maybe the winner of Cannonier versus Vittoria will fight Adesanya. Even though those are both not really interesting fights, that could be a potential backup in case a bad situation happens. Or it could be a Paulo Costa, who also is going to be fighting July 29th. And if he wins that fight, maybe he could be one of those backup type guys if there really is an injury. Now, I don't think that this is likely. I think that there isn't going to be a backup at play, seeing that none of these fights would really be interesting except for the winner of Robert Whittaker versus Dricus du Plessis, which is the most unlikely option out of all of these, except for maybe Paulo Costa. So I think it's fair to eliminate Cannonier, Costa, Vittori, and Robert Whittaker and Dricus du Plessis. And another thing is that Dana White did tease he has an announcement soon, and all those fights are booked, and Vittori and Cannonier is the first fight out of all of those contenders, and that's in the middle of June, so we have plenty of time. So to me, it leaves 2 options. Now, with Costa book, all know his opponent that he was supposed to fight. I think the second least likely option, or the second most likely option, is Khamzat. I think Khamzat is a guy that would make a good matchup for Adesanya. He's a wrestler. Adesanya is a striker. There's interest there. Khamzat is extremely popular. He has tons of hype. You've seen him demolish a lot of other guys. Does he deserve a title shot? Not really. He's coming off of a win against Kevin Holland, in which Kevin Holland took that on a day's notice, preparing for a strike striker. Completely missed weight against Nate Diaz. Hasn't fought in a year. Does he deserve the title shot? Absolutely not, but that's the only other option that makes sense to me, other than the number one option, which I'm going to say in a second. But that would be an interesting matchup because, yes, there is a scenario where you could say, hey, Pereira was able to take Adesanya down. Why can't Hamza? And Hamza could definitely control guys better than Pereira can. That's an interesting fight, and we've seen them have back and forths in the past. And the only reason that this makes sense is because, like, they booked Costa against a random dude. Like, maybe they're just trying to give Hamza a fight. But I don't think that this is likely because, number one, I don't think Hamza deserves a title shot. I also think that they're going to save him for Abu Dhabi, maybe to fight Costa if Costa wins his fight, or maybe another guy like the winner of Vittoria or Cannonier or something like that. Maybe the winner of Whittaker and Dricus du Plessis. There's a lot of options there, but I think the number one likely option is this. I'm going to go with Jamal Hill. I think that he's going to be fighting Jamal Hill. We know that Yuri Prochazka and Jamal Hill have to fight, yes, but they wanted that fight for August, and Yuri Prochazka said, hey, he's not going to be ready for August, so maybe this is the UFC saying, hey, let's just give him extra time. Let's not try to just book him right as soon as possible. Let's make sure that the shoulder's healed. Let's give Jamal Hill another fight. Jan Blachowicz is already booked. Pereira's already booked too. Let's make Adesanya versus Jamal Hill, champion versus champion. Israel Adesanya gets another chance of becoming champ. If you guys remember, he lost to Jan Blachowicz trying to do the same thing just a couple years ago. Now he's going to be going back, trying to get the win again, trying to get another belt against Jamal Hill, who is an extremely powerful guy. And I would say the odds would probably be in heavy of Adesanya if this fight took place 2 years ago. But since we've seen him now get knocked out by Pereira recently, as well as lose to Jan Blachowicz, this fight is really close. I think a lot of people are going to just pick Adesanya because Adesanya definitely has more accolades than Jamal Hill. However, Jamal Hill is an extremely dangerous fight. He has fucking knockout power like you wouldn't believe. We saw him put on a striking clinic against Glover Teixeira, an underrated striking clinic. Like, Yuri was on his way to losing that fight. He put on a striking clinic, and I think I would honestly pick Jamal Hill to beat Yuri Prochazka. This is an interesting fight, and I think that Adesanya is definitely going to have to be on his toes. I could see him being very hesitant, kind of like how he was against Pereira. I think it's a tough fight for Adesanya, to be honest. I'm not sure who I would pick in that matchup. I think Adesanya should definitely try to rely on his speed a little bit more than he did when he fought Jan Blachowicz the first time. I think he should definitely try to be a little bit of the smaller fighter, be a little bit faster, and not necessarily just match the pace. I think he should try to outpace Jamal Hill in order to win that fight. I think that's definitely his best way to win. We did see Jamal Hill struggle against Thiago Santos at points. It's an interesting fight. I think that's the fight they're going to try to make next, but I could be wrong. This could all just be nonsense. But my best guess is, look, September 9th, Sydney, Australia, Adesanya versus Jamal Hill. Maybe co-main event, we see Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso. Probably get Tai Tuivasa on the card. That sounds like a fun card already. Like, that, sign me up. I'm excited for the Jamal Hill matchup. I think it's fair. I think they should give Jamal Hill another fight. I don't like Yuri just coming right back away. I hope he has just a couple months of a layoff. I know Yuri's not going to like that, but why not just have him fight till 2024? Like, what's the harm in that? Make sure the shoulder is all good. This was apparently one of the worst shoulder injuries that they've ever had in the UFC, so why not just take the extra time off, make sure. I'm a big fan of the fight Jamal Hill versus Israel Adesanya, but like I said, it also could be Hamza. It could be just another contender, but we're supposed to have an announcement very, very soon, so we're gonna have to find out. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like I said, tell me, guys, who do you guys think Adesanya is going to face next? It looks like we're in for an amazing second half of the year. These last two pay-per-views have been International Fight Week was a little disappointing, but still a good card, just disappointing based on what we thought we were going to get. But wow, UFC 291, UFC 292, UFC 293 so far looking amazing. UFC 294 in Abu Dhabi, UFC 295 and MSG is probably going to be amazing with Colby Covington, Leon Edwards maybe on the card, John Jones versus Stipe, and at the end of the year we're supposed to have Conor McGregor. Whilst having the Ultimate Fighter air throughout this summer, guys, the UFC did not fall off. I see people on Twitter saying, hey, that the UFC hype is just not the same anymore just because we have these two bad pay-per-views. Guys, I am telling you, this second half looks nuts. Like, I'm already seeing what they're doing. Apparently Boston is going to be even crazier than the one in Utah. Like, if that, I don't even think that's possible, but if it is, holy shit, we're in for a crazy year. Guys, thank you guys for watching. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next one.